What's up, guys? What is up? Oh, I need to take a drink. So I'm going to do that while you guys jump on here really quickly. And I'm going to remove my earphones so you don't listen to me swallow. Because that's my life. Because that's my life. This is an odd time for me to go live, so I don't even know if anybody's going to hang out with me because it's the middle of the damn day. What is up? Hey, Tandy, my love, how are you? I miss your face. We need to talk soon. You guys, I have something that's been literally like poking at me for like, I don't know, 4 days or something now. And I just literally have not had an opportunity to jump on and chat with y'all about it. So here I am. Hey, Emily, what's up? So Tuesdays for me are always quite an entertainingly fun, ridiculous day. And it's always really good. But I'm ending the day and I got a lot of other shit to do. But I want to tell you something. So there has been don't be dirty, sir. Don't be dirty. Anyway, we're gonna let that slide. So here's the situation and here's the conversation I want to have. So I don't know, for those of you who maybe don't know, but I used to live an extremely crazy, chaotic lifestyle. I have always been a manager, an operations manager. Before that, I handled insurance claims, which is chaotic. I don't know, for those of you who didn't know this either, like all of my early 20s, I had 5 jobs at minimum, up until I was 26, 25, something like that. Hey, Kyle. Hey, Tanya. And so my life was just always chaotic. It was a choice. Like I chose all of those things and I ran around like a crazy person and did all these jobs and it was super fun and yada, yada, yada. But I didn't really know any better, right? And then I go into this other business and I'm running this business and which is like pure chaos. That's a whole other story for another day. But it was like purely chaotic. I was around a lot of toxicity. It was a really great lifestyle. Like I kind of think back to my life sometimes, like if I would have stayed down that path, where I would be right now. Like I look younger right now than I did when I worked there 4 years ago, which is crazy. So I can only imagine like basically where I would be if I would have stayed down that like crazy path of obnoxiousness. I'd probably be an alcoholic and look like I was 17 years old, not 57. That's not even really an old age, but you get what I'm saying. Like 72. Let's throw that out there. I'd probably look 72. So I was gonna say, my mom just turned, today is my mother's birthday, by the way. She's 60 years old, God love her, and she looks like her skin looks better than mine. So, go her. Let me get to my point. So my point is that used to be my life. I left that job on a principle, basically, not planned, and entered the world of what the fuck am I gonna do now? And had to figure that out. And along the way, like when I first started, I was up till 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, often building website for my business, doing marketing for my clients, doing party planning and event planning for people, prepping presentations, like all of that kind of shit, because I just basically didn't know that there was a different way. I've always been a planner. I've always been the girl who gets like a million things done in one day. But like, I remember, I think it was Kat Latorzo was like one of the first people to say this to me, or maybe it was Susie Romans. I don't remember, but basically they were like, you don't have to work that many hours every single day to create what it is that you want to create. And I remember thinking to myself, like, what? Like, I come from a very blue collar, very bust your ass all the time, work super duper hard, like work your fingers to the bone just to make enough money to get by kind of world. So it took me a long time to really kind of step back and grasp that there was another option. And since then, thank Jesus, like I had the realization and the balls basically to go after creating this world the way that I want it. Look at this stuff right here. This makes me look like a slob. This right here just caught my eye. That is stuff that needs to be sent to Texas, to Catherine's children. And it's just sitting there staring at me. Anyway. So it took me a long time to get past that thought process, like past the thought of, I must work my fingers to the bone in order to make any money, in order to build any of this, blah, blah, blah. Here's what shifted. Let me know if this is making any sense, if you guys can hear me. Like, it's been a little bit since somebody said something, so, like, give me some, like, hit some likes or something to know what's up. Samantha, are you looking at my shit over there? Creeping in my windows? So basically what I'm getting at is that I had to make a decision, and I made a decision like, why am I doing this, right? Like, that's what's funny. People become entrepreneurs and thank you, John. People become entrepreneurs and they're like, oh, I can do whatever I want. This is awesome. And then we don't do whatever we want. It's kind of ass backwards. Like, I can hear you, but I can't see you. I don't know why you can't see me. But people kind of go ass backwards. We start our own businesses basically so we can make our own rules. We can do whatever we want, and then we don't do whatever we want, which, like, then why are you doing your own business? Like, I don't understand, like, what's your prerogative? And that's the thing. Nobody asks himself this. Like, why are you doing this to begin with? Like, what's your point? Why do you want to do this? And so I asked myself that, like, why am I doing all this work? Like, what is my purpose for this? And that's why. What are you saying to me? We are on the same length. I'm making a post about this tomorrow. I did the chaos thing was somewhat successful. I just realized literally to simplify and remove chaos. Oh my God, John, yeah. You remove the chaos and it like snowballs. Like literally you remove the complication and you simplify it and your like success plus your quality of life will like catapult. It's insane. But there's a point to what I'm saying. So please hang with me because there's a really, really valid point that I'm setting the stage for right now. Samantha, I'm sorry that I beat you to the punch. It's okay. You can still write your post. So I had to make this decision, like, why the fuck am I even doing this? Like, what am I putting all this work in here for? And that's when I kind of started to redefine what work meant to me. Like, why am I doing this? What is my purpose? So basically, as most of you know, because you watch me and you're here and you see what I share and that kind of shit, like, my world, my business runs off of my life. Like, my business is my life is my business. They are the same thing. So for me to say, like, I only do, like, work or, like, Kat, I was watching Kat not too long ago, and she was like, tasky tasks. I just, like, do tasky tasks, like, a few hours every day. When I tell that to somebody, people get real pissed, okay? They get real fucking mad. And they're like, what? You should be working this many hours and doing this many things. And it's like, there's your mentality, though. Like, your mindset's wrong. If you're looking at work incorrectly, like me living my life and sharing that with you is my work. From the moment my eyes click open to the moment they close, that is me working. End of story. Every piece of how I live my life. My fish are going ham today. See that fish tank? Sorry, I just got interrupted. They've literally been flipping. I had to put the fish thing over the hole because they've been like flipping at the top of the water all day. Like, you guys are going to jump out of your bowl. Like, what is even happening? Seriously, I don't know if you could hear it, but they've been doing it all day long. And I'm like, what? They're trying to like commit fish suicide or something. I don't know. Anyway, so back to my point. You get to define what work means to you. So like, granted, when I sit down and I tackle my fucking list, like, it feels like work, kind of. But then I get on the phone with my clients and that doesn't feel like work. I do these live streams, that doesn't feel like work. I do Snapchats all day long, that doesn't feel like work. I do my Facebook post, my Instagram post, that doesn't feel like work, but it's work. Do you feed them? Yes, I feed them, Jeff. I actually fed them the first time they jumped this morning, thinking maybe they were just hungry, and they're still jumping, so I don't know what the deal is going. They're like crazy. It's kind of hot in here, so maybe they're like crazy. I don't know. They're boiling or something. But anyway, so you get to define what work is. And so like the reason I'm making this is because no matter when you choose freedom over chaos, it pisses people off. And it's always going to, because they're like, well, you're not working hard enough. Like, fuck you, basically. They're going to yell at you about it. See, here's the thing, though. You don't get to tell me how hard I'm working. You don't get to tell me that. You're not standing in my house. There are a few people who do see me. And those of you who are live here who know me in real life, like Jeff can attest to this. He's met me in person. I'm the exact same human being in real life as I am right here. What you guys see. Like, I'm that person all the time. This isn't like a show, but like for somebody to get angry with me because I'm not working hard enough or whatever, but I'm talking about being in control of my life and being intentional and creating my own reality. It's like this really sick and twisted mindset. And it blows my mind. And I've been pondering on this, like I said, for a few days now, because I'm like, it's just sad because, yep, chaos. Whatever, Jeff. You know I'm not chaos. He's a shithead. That's what that is. But like, literally, it's a choice on how you want to operate every single day, guys. Like, it is legitimately a choice. Like I said at the beginning of this call, I went from living in a state of chaos and thriving in a state of chaos. I enjoyed it. Like, I thoroughly enjoyed the chaos and the craziness and the people everywhere and all of the things and solving the problems all day long. Like, I fucking loved it. But then I realized, like, do I want this to be my reality? Is this sustainable? There's a question for all of you. Number one, let's ask ourselves, why are we really doing this? Right? Like, why am I really doing this? The other question is what I'm doing right now sustainable? Where am I going to be in 10 years? Where am I going to be in 5 years? Because I'm going to tell you right now, I know plenty of business owners that started their businesses 15 years ago and did that like knuckle to the grind bullshit, and have had several heart attacks. They're in the worst health of their life. They have terrible relationships with their families. If they even still have a family, they have no friends. Most of them are alcoholics or drug addicts. And they really don't have that much money to show for it anyways. So like, to me, it's like, you get to choose. But those are two questions that, and I'm not ever going to like dog somebody for their decision. You do you. Like, you get to choose however you want. But like, I want you to ask yourself two questions. Number one, again, why are you doing this? Like, why did you start your own company? What is your fucking purpose? For me, it was freedom and lifestyle. Here I am, freedom and lifestyle. I get to choose what I want to do every single day, and it's awesome. But I've designed it that way. Number two, is what you're doing right now sustainable? What I was doing before I started this business full time was not sustainable. It would have killed me. It would have put me in a really bad place. Number two, if I would have even kept what I was doing when I first started full time working this business, would not be sustainable. Not any way, shape, or form would it have been sustainable for me. I would not still be functioning at the level I'm functioning at now if I wouldn't have decided that I needed to be intentional with how I was going to put, like, what I was going to do every single day and the intention behind the lifestyle. Like, you get to choose. It's the mentality that you can't work hard and enjoy it. If you enjoy it, it's not work. No shit, right? Why am I doing this to feel important? 100%. Hey, Betsy. So one of the things that, and it's really funny because I was having this thought process, and then I saw Emily Frisella actually made a post on Instagram the same day that said, busy is not a badge of honor. And I was like, amen, praise Jesus, she gets it. Because it's not. Busy is a sign of you not being clear. Busy is a sign of you not being a good manager, usually. Busy is a state of mind. Busy is not something to thrive to be. Productive, 100%. Productive is a place to thrive. Productive is a place for you to want to be. Because in a state of productivity, you are creating. You can look up both words, look up the definition, tell me what you think. When you're productive, it's very, very different. I can tell you right now, based upon my morning routine, I get more done than most human beings before 10 a.m. because I choose it that way. It's intentional. It's productive. It's not distracted. It's not unclear. It's super duper focused. Like, I'm just using myself as an example because it's easier. But what I'm getting at is you don't have to live in that state. But when you choose, like, to go back to the topic of this, or like the title of this video to begin with, when you choose freedom and lifestyle and productivity over chaos and killing yourself working so hard and all of that stuff, like, when you choose between the two, one or the other person is going to get real mad at you. Okay? Like, I have a party of people who will never understand my choices, and they don't have to. There's the fun part. But I'm not stressing about it. They're the ones who are tripping and acting like I'm wrong. I'm not telling everybody they need to operate like me. I'm just telling them that they can if they want to. I'll teach them how. Like, that's what I do. So that's the thing. Like, that's where I want people to understand, is realistically, like, you do get to choose. You do get to choose how that goes. When you put the thought processes in place to be intentional, to be proactive, to choose to be productive versus busy running around like a chicken with your head cut off, it's a choice. So you can whatever serves you, basically, like, what's your purpose and what's sustainable to you. I know what's sustainable for me. I was in the hospital for 10 days from the chaotic lifestyle. I spent $12,000 on top of insurance to pay for that problem because I ran myself into the ground. That's not something I want to do. You know what I'm saying? So that's my choice. People want to get pissed off at me for it. That's not my problem. That's about them. It goes back to what I've told you guys in the past, where you can't control someone else's reaction. And someone else's reaction has nothing to do with you. It has everything to do with them. So you have to remember that if somebody tries to judge you or tell you you're doing something wrong or whatever, it has nothing to do with you. It has everything to do with them and their own whatever it may be that's triggering them. Garrett, I tend to be reactive instead of proactive, which typically leads to gas. Absolutely, and it really does. And Garrett, that's usually where most people operate, because it just takes a lot of mindset shifting, and it takes a little bit of planning and some time to adjust to get yourself into a place where you can be proactive versus reactive. That's basically where you're at. Craig, it's your life. Absolutely, 100%. Everyone gets to choose what they want. Dan, I just ate a lot of ice cream. I freaking wish I just ate a lot of ice cream. I'm waiting for this 8-week challenge to be over. I'm going to go get a double scoop cone from Baskin-Robbins of mint chocolate chip ice cream. It's going to happen. Samantha, question. The people that get offended by it, why? Especially when it's undeniable that it's working. Typically, if people get offended by that, just in my experience, and if we want to talk like psychologically here, it's a lot of times it's something that they feel gives them like most people hang their hats on being busy, and as like Emily said, as a badge of honor. Like that makes them feel like they're accomplishing something. Like they're a badass and they're working so hard, so that means they're accomplishing something. So when they see someone else who's living a relaxed lifestyle, who's choosing to do whatever it is that I do, like in my way, and there's a million other examples of people who live their lifestyles very similarly to what I do, it almost pisses them off because they think it's like I'm cheating. As like I'm cheating, or I'm like talking about how hard work doesn't matter. I work really fucking hard. I'm very, very intentional with what I do. If any of you question that, like you're crazy. You see what I'm putting out there, and the team I've built and the things that I have, like people it makes them question themselves and their own place that they've chosen to stand there, like to plant their flag is really what it is. It's a big mindset thing, Samantha, in a big way, for sure. Dan, you look amazing, and that sounds good. Yes. Well, thank you, and that ice cream does sound amazing. But I'm being such a good girl right now, so I'm going to keep at it. But anyways, guys, that's really the message that I had. If anybody else has any questions, I'll hang tight for a second. You guys can ask away. Obviously, me helping people create the life they want doesn't always mean that they have to live a lifestyle like me. I have clients that have brick and mortar businesses that are in their brick and mortar businesses every single day, but they also have chosen to live their life their way, and create and put things into place that help them be able to have a life and a successful business, because it is possible. You just have to put a little work into it. Into creating that part of it, not work into the business, but into creating that shift and that change. Any thoughts on a side business rapidly expanding while working a full-time job, going to eventually go full entrepreneur, but not ready to make the leap to grow the business while still not burning out? It's really difficult, Bob. I had my company was open for a year before I went full-time for it. And it was really hard. It definitely could have generated the income to make up the difference between both jobs. But it had not gotten to that level when I decided to leave. When I left my job, I didn't have another job. Like I wasn't generating a consistent income. I was doing only like per instance items for people at that time. So it's not like I had like monthly retainers with people back then. So at that point when I left my full-time gig, I didn't have another income. So when it comes to like the word you use right there is perfect. It is a leap. I feel like everybody kind of gets to a point where it's like, all right, you're either going to shit or get off the pot, basically. Like I'm either going to go balls to the walls into this or I'm not. When I first left that, I went and found a couple of side gigs where I was like contract working for shops and basically helping them get all their paperwork under wraps and do what they need to do there. And so me doing that and trying to run my business, it just wasn't making sense anymore. My business coach at the time asked me, she goes, listen, I understand that you need that other money in order to make this work, but I need to ask you, how much more money would you be making if you could put 100% of your time and focus into your business versus helping other businesses, which would technically be considered my other job, right? And she was right. So I walked away from those side gigs and did my thing. And it was really fucking scary. It's still fucking scary. Like, let's be real. It's not a very comfortable place to be sometimes. Like, you can make it comfortable, but I will never tell somebody to take the leap and leave their job. That's a decision that you personally need to make, but I want you to know that it's never comfortable. Like, it's never going to be comfortable. There will never be a perfect time. There will never be a time that makes sense. But if you want it, like you want it eventually, you're going to have to make the leap, basically, if you want it to go bigger than what it currently is. So that's my response. You'll know when. I wholeheartedly believe that you'll know when. Like, there'll be a moment where you'll be like, I need to do this. Fucking do it. Like, when you feel that, do it. Elizabeth, just take the leap. It will make you uncomfortable. You can tell him that all you want to. Other people can tell him that all you want to. Like a coaching standpoint, that's two things. There's two things I will never tell somebody. Number one, I will never tell them to quit their day job. Number two, I will never tell them to put my services on a credit card, because those are two, like, really, really not ethical things for me as a coach to do. Those are like two very tricky places that I don't go. 100%. I do agree. It will never be comfortable. It will always be scary. It will never be a sure thing. That's part of the growing process. It's kind of part of what makes it fun. It's part of what makes you, like, I backed myself in a corner and I figured it out, basically. I was like, okay, I have this many expenses and I have no money, so let's figure it out. And that's what I did. And that's what a lot of people do. You know, I'm sure you've heard plenty of stories like that. Jeff Watson, how many calories do you eat? On days that I'm training, I eat 3,000 calories a day. On days that I'm not training, I eat 2,600 calories a day. Jeffrey Watson, just so you know. Side note, like, please don't eat like me unless you are a hard gainer, because it'll make you fat. Just saying. Don't eat 3,000 calories a day unless you're trying to gain mass. Trust me. And I eat 3,000 calories a day clean is really, really hard. FYI, just in case anybody was wondering. It's not a simple task. It's very, very difficult. So anyways, guys, like, I appreciate the questions. And Bob, I hope that helped you. I really do think that when you're ready to make that leap, you'll know. And just know that it's always going to be scary. For sure. It will always be scary. My plan is to pay credit cards to build a cushion, have the bookings where it's done for me to stay at a job getting there. So I think that, you know, that's a great idea, but I also feel like maybe you might don't get, like, I had somebody come at me one time, a client was like, I want to have this amount of money in my bank account. And I'm like, well, sometimes you just have to make the leap. Like, you can't always be big. You know what I'm saying? Like, your plan is great, but don't be surprised if you come to a moment before you're at, like, your credit card's paid off and you have a huge cushion where you're like, I'm going to do this. And there's nothing wrong with that. So don't pigeonhole yourself is basically what I'm trying to say. Michelle, you're so sweet. I use Living Proof shampoo and it is amazing and I swear by it. I started using it, quite honestly, because Jennifer Aniston uses it and it's all natural. It doesn't have any chemicals in it. And it's fucking awesome. I thoroughly love their product. This is it's Living Proof Restore, I think. So it's like the really hydrating kind. But thank you. Tommy, it's never comfortable, for real though. It's uncomfortable, but man, it is worth it. Putting yourself in uncomfortable situations is the best way to grow, period. Absolutely. Samantha, girl, it is a full-time job. Alexa literally yells at me several times a day to tell me to eat. That's the only way I can remember to eat. So I eat 8 times a day, something like that. Big meals. It's the only way I'm able to get it. It is hard to do eating clean. Absolutely. 3,000 calories. It sucks. It's not fun, but I feel better than I've ever felt before. And I've had several people say to me that I'm glowing. They're like, you're glowing. And I'm like, well, I know I'm not pregnant. That's definitely not the case. So it must be all this water and all this food. So I'm happy with that. It's definitely healthy living, I'd say, is what you're seeing. So you guys are awesome. I'm so happy. I was kind of worried that I was at a weird time. I wouldn't get anybody live to chit chat with me. Samantha, it's taken quite a long time to get a plan in place where I'm able to make sure that I'm getting the calories in, basically. I also eat a really high fat diet, like clean fats. So that's another thing that's really interesting, is being able to get a lot of the fat percentages in with like good fats, considering that I'm not eating anything fried or anything dirty, so, or processed or anything like that. So it's definitely an interesting game to measure. But the biggest thing is people are like, how do you know how many calories and figure out your calories and blah, blah. You just have to track it. You just have to track it. You need to use MyFitnessPal. It's a super simple one to use, and just track it. That's the only way you can really figure it out. Thanks. I have it too. Awesome. Yeah, it's a good product. Kudos to you for your meal prep discipline. I suck at it. Getting back to with nutrition solutions. Yeah, I was using a meal prep company for a while, and I really love them. It's Fit Flavors here in St. Louis. They're amazing. But the problem is that I wasn't getting enough calories in with their meals. Their protein was on point, but their vegetables and their carbs were too low for me. And so it just made more sense for me to start making my own meals. So this is like week 6 that I've consistently been only eating my own prepped meals. I'm going to start trying to get some custom meals from this other company and see if they will work for me. But it just made more sense, because what happened is I was eating these meals and I still wasn't hitting my calories. So I'm like, what the fuck? Like, it was kind of making me mad. So I basically was like, I'm going to take control of this and change it. And as I'm saying this, my stomach is like basically growling right now. That's the fun part too. I never used to be hungry, and it was terrible. I'm sure Jeff Watson can chime in on this. Like, when you have to eat that much, you're never hungry. It's like a chore, and it's not fun, and it sucks really bad. But now I'm actually hungry when it's time to eat, which is really nice, because I've kind of shifted my body. Samantha, he kind of helped me with it, but more of it was trial and error for me. Like, he kind of said, like, basically make sure on the days that you're training you eat this many more calories. So this is how many calories you're burning. But most of it was trial and error. I'm actually creating a plan for Catherine right now. If you want to talk about it, I can work with you on that too. Hey, exciting news, guys. 2 things that are really cool that's happening. Number 1, my live event page goes live tomorrow for you guys to sign up and come to St. Louis and hang out with me, which will be really fun. The second really cool, exciting thing is that I'm actually going to a wellness institute starting in June, and I am going to get certified as a nutrition and wellness specialist. Am I going to go away from what I'm doing now? Absolutely fucking not. Let's be real. I am the queen of getting shit done, and that is my jam. But I am adding this into my list of expertise, basically, because it is something that my clients need, and it's something that I can give advice on now, but I'm not a specialist or an expert. So I want to get the certification so that I can help people live a more holistically balanced life overall. So stay tuned for that, because that's super exciting. I'll be able to create those types of things for people, which will be really, really fun. Yeah, vegan throws me for a loop. I will say that, but I will do what I can. So I'm super stoked, you guys. You guys are so fucking amazing. It's really not even funny. It makes me so happy. So let me know if you guys have any more questions. Yeah, that institute, dude, I searched high and low, because there's so many, like, you can do sports nutritionist, which is like a lot of your, like, your sponsored athletes have, which there's nothing wrong with that. Or I have a couple of friends who've like gone to college for the nutrition, like 4-year colleges for their nutrition degrees, which is fine too, and really, really great. But like, this is basically like, I'm not going to be a doctor. I'm not going to be your personal trainer, but I will be able to help people figure out on a scientific level the best macros and the best health habits to get into on like a healthy living spectrum versus just like, hey, here's your sports diet. Because you guys know me, like, my body is extremely different than everyone else's in the way of like how it functions and what works for me. And so I want to be able to help people figure that out for themselves too, because I've spent years of trial and error where no professional has been able to really help me figure out exactly what I needed to do. I've taken bits and pieces from different people. Like Aaron Dokos, for example, is online here. He helped me figure out like the beauty of what it is to eat fat versus high carb, and like changed my fucking life. But then I had to still trial and error to figure out the other things because that wasn't enough. So I want to be able to provide that scientific, factual information for my clients as well to help them trial and error and figure out, because we're not all the same. And nothing pisses me off more than when someone is like, here's my 2,000 calorie diet, it should work for everyone. And it's like, no, it doesn't work for everyone because we're all fucking different. So just saying. So I want to be able to be the different, like, be able to offer a different thing to my people, just like I do for planning and productivity. I don't give you guys a cookie cutter answer for any of that shit. I ask you specifically what your personal situation is, because there is no cookie cutter answer on how to get shit done differently. It's different for each one of us. So you can help me. All the trainers I've asked have said they don't know enough about vegan. Okay. Sam, you should also talk to Elizabeth. Are you still on? I'm pretty sure Elizabeth is vegan. I'm not positive, but I'm pretty sure she is, and has been for quite a long time. So I think you guys, and Tandy, where's Tandy? If she's here, I could hook you up with her too. She runs her own cafe up in Washington. She's amazing. And she is like, she's like a vegan goddess. Like, I don't even know how she does what she does, but it's pretty phenomenal. So I can hook you up with those two ladies as well, Sam, to get some more information from. Because I don't know enough about it. Why did I think you were vegan, Elizabeth? Maybe it's because of the vegan protein from Arbonne. I don't know. Maybe that's why I thought that. I don't know. Anyway. So yes, guys, super excited. I will hook you up. Tandy must not be on here anymore because she's like the queen, and I will definitely like connect you guys for sure. So anyways, thank you guys for being here. You're amazing. And I love having these conversations. So if you guys liked this video and you think anybody else could benefit from the message previously about the freedom and lifestyle and the choices that you get to make in order to do that, please share it. I appreciate when you guys do that. And tomorrow, the page for the live event goes live, and it will have the early bird pricing till noon the following day. So you'll be able to get the early bird pricing for basically like 30 hours. It'll change back to the regular price at noon on Thursday. So that saves you $100 if you sign up. And I've already had some people sign up off my VIP list, which is really exciting. So get your asses here. Get to St. Louis. Let's get shit done. It's going to be amazing. I'll talk to you guys later.